What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to go through how to do your own Euro mount. That's one that I finished a couple weeks back. Shot that buck in Kentucky, and not a monster by any means, but definitely good enough for a Euro mount. Came out great. Really happy with it. I love some of the character, like this little kicker point right here. It's pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to show you how I make these Euro mounts. We've got a bunch of them. But this past week, our little buddy Ezra shot this one, and that is his biggest buck, and definitely super happy for Ez, and I'm going to work on getting his Euro mount done for him ASAP. So follow along. I'll try to be as thorough as I can, step by step. I'm not going to get into a lot of the cutting and getting the skin off. That part's a little gruesome, but I will give you some rough ideas where to start, the steps of the process, and then we'll get into the actual boiling, bleaching. You're going to have a nice skull mount if you follow along, kind of do this the same way. We've done a bunch of them. So first off, you're going to want some kind of gloves. I actually have some better gloves than this I'll probably end up using, but I grabbed these. Assortment of knives. You don't need all of these, but typically I have some pretty nasty old fillet knives that we only use exclusively for this. Probably should still clean them in case I cut myself, but you get the point. These are not used for anything else. Usually have a box cutter just in case I've got some extra tough stuff. A couple screwdrivers. These are used for kind of picking at some of the tendons and the stuff that's a little bit tough for the eyeballs, all that. This one's pretty sweet. It's a little picking tool that I made out of a screwdriver. Usually have a pair of pliers, or in this case, wire strippers almost, but they work pretty good for pulling skin. What I do first is I start at the back and I make a cut all the way down to here, and then I make another cut here over and here over, and that allows me to peel the ears back that way, work my way down, and then I can peel this all the way down in two halves like that. Once I get down to the jawbone line, I want all this on top, with the exception of the eyeballs, to have just been filleted down till I get to those top teeth. I'm not going to be using the bottom jaw for anything, so then I open it up and cut there. I'm not going to show any of this because I don't want YouTube to take it down, but that's the real detail of it. It'll all come off in one piece if you do this right. The eyeballs can be tricky. I'll touch on that a little bit more later. Again, I'm trying to avoid some of the gruesome detail, but you'll notice this skin right here is by far the toughest. I was able to get in there no problem because I've got a really sharp knife, but you're gonna usually find it best to come in from behind the skin. And this stuff up here, these bucks are designed to fight with all this right here. It can get beat up, so all this tissue underneath the skin and the skin itself is extremely tough. So you're definitely going to want a sharp knife. All right, so I've been at it about 35 minutes. I've got all of this done, unzipped on the head that I'm working on. All of this is down to here, and I've worked my way back. Once you get back in here, you're going to basically skip over the eye sockets. You're going to get back in here, and you want to kind of get in here and along this line. And here you've got your jawbone comes back up inside here, and so just for reference, you want to try to get in here as much as possible as you work your way back. The goal would be to get where you can open the jaw up and then start cutting from the inside. And this connection at the spine, at the base of the skull, is much easier to get from the inside. That was the point that I wanted to make. Everything is in this bag in one piece, which is how I like to do it. The only thing I haven't done is the eyeballs. Again, I'm going to skip that part for you guys. It's not fun, but I'll give a few directions on it. But I like to take all the skin, all the meat off in one piece, just like that. Makes it easier for me to dispose of. All right, so we've made it to this point. Gonna switch over to the one that's done to kind of talk about it. So after the skin has been removed, jaw and neck, You can stop at that point because we're going to switch over to boiling and the pressure washer. You don't have to get all this out right now, but the reason that I've done it, as you can see on the other one, is that it makes the rest of this a lot shorter, a lot faster. So if you're going to do it, come and make a cut all the way around the outside. I like to leave enough material to work with so that I can kind of pull it out with pliers or my hands. And you're gonna reach in there and cut all the way around, kind of work at an angle. And then you're gonna come in from behind right here and do the same thing, making those disconnections right there, and everything will come right out. The more you can get off at this stage where this whole cavity is somewhat clean, the less fat you're gonna have in the water, which will stain this. But personally, I like to get it down pretty dang far before I go into the boil, and then I have less time spent with the pressure washer. All right, and you'll notice I used saran wrap and electrical tape. I do electrical tape first around the pedicles, then the saran wrap, and then I tape it together. Fits pretty good in there, but I started off with the water kind of low, and I'm just going to add water until I get it just above or right at the back of the skull right there. I use this angle iron. It helps me a lot getting this thing as angled back as I can. That way I'm not completely covering these pedicles. And I brought the heat down, so it's just going to simmer here. As far as how much time, people ask me that. So here's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to just scrape this stuff off and have it come off easy like that. So this is ready to pressure wash, I think. Went ahead and changed out my water. Still a little oily looking, but better than what it was. I actually control the height this thing is in the water. But that's about where you want it, right there. Now we're going to move back here to these ear holes. For that, you're going to want a screwdriver that fits right in there. Pry it down like this and break it out. You go ahead and reach underneath here and break this nasal bone right here. It'll make pulling all this out a lot easier. Need to get some new fish hook removers, but those things work really good at getting all this crap out of there. But it is ready to pressure wash again, and then we'll get on to the bleaching. You maybe have seen some videos before, but we're going to show you how I like to do it. This peroxide, which is cream peroxide, is a lot easier to find here locally, and it's cheap. This, you need a small brush like this, a couple bucks. You need to keep that water level below the antlers. The goal here is not to boil, it's to steam. And I know it seems crazy to be doing this without those antlers wrapped, but you're gonna see how it works. This top is usually the hardest. You just want it to steam. You want this thing to kind of sweat. Just like that. And I'm usually going to clean my brush off here in the water. And even add a splash more to the water right here. It has only been 20 minutes, and if you can't tell, it's already starting to lighten up a lot. Just low and slow with the temperature like this. I will hit it one more time with the peroxide, green peroxide, that brush, in about 5 minutes or so. I want to get this baby really white, but it's going quick. Probably been in here about an hour. That is just moisture soaking into the bone a little bit, but it is ready to go. This baby is nice and white. Like I said, you can see the water line. That's gonna go away. It's gonna be really nice and white like that. I'll take it over here, rinse it off. Some extra peroxide off. If you do have any little boogers on here, they'll come off real easy. Just pick them off. But all the hard work is done. There you go. So I will let this dry out, and I'll show you guys the finished product at the very end of the video. Like I said, you can do a little bit of finish cleanup, but that thing is going to be white by tomorrow. If you want to go one extra step, you can stick this thing in the sun for a day. I do like to do that. I put them up on my roof, on the ladder, up against the gutters, and this thing's gonna look awesome. And that's a wrap on Ezra's buck. So hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something. It came out really good. We've still got some options for how to mount it, like we did for a couple of the big 7-pointers that Noah and I have chosen to do Euro mounts on. It's a great way to memorialize a deer that you might not do a shoulder mount on without spending a lot of money. Once you buy the burner, both pots, the 10 and the 30, it's like 80 bucks on Amazon, I think. It's a turkey fryer combo, basically. Once you do one, it's pretty much paid for itself. So please like and subscribe. Hopefully you learned something from the video. And if you want to see my full video on the Rawson buck, which is my biggest buck ever taken with a bow here in Georgia that I had the pleasure of harvesting this year, please like and subscribe, because that's going to be the best way for you to catch it. It should be out next week. But we've got a lot of other educational content, just teaching you a little bit about what we love out here in God's great creation. So go get them.